This week we are officially adding Hunter x Hunter to the lineup.
Bro.
Uh,
Whoa.
whoa!
Whoa.
So, for those of you who don't know, Hunter x Hunter started out as a story of the main character Gon, looking for his father who disappeared to become a hunter or to continue being a hunter, and left him like a terrible deadbeat dad. Um, and he proceeded to be the most deadbeat dad in all of anime history, which is saying something. Uh, so there's this series is long and very complicated, so we won't go through super nitty gritty details. I just wanted to start off the coverage of Hunter x Hunter this week by giving overall impressions of the series. I I believe that I think I'm pretty sure that the three of us, our experience with Hunter x Hunter is actually we're all 2011 anime onlys up to this point. And we've all started reading the manga from when the anime ends. In preparation for the series, I foolishly decided to like go all the way back and try to read it, but then that like munched up a lot of my time before Hunter x Hunter actually came out, so I kind of just like sped up to where the anime ends and decided I'm going to read it all again retroactively. Um, but yeah, this series to me is pretty damn good. I feel like pretty confident in jumping on the bandwagon here. Sometimes bandwagons are correct. And in Hunter x Hunter's case, it's a really good series overall. Um, there's a lot of really great moments. One of my favorite moments is in the Chimera Ant arc. That's
Mhm.
if you want to see like there's like moments. I wouldn't say that the Chimera Ant arc overall is pretty incredible. It is the perfect kind of like storm of what is so good and kind of not great about Hunter x Hunter, with like this crazy amount of over exposition, but coupled in with these like really tense and dramatic moments. Like there's a moment where like Gon is basically like giving this Chimera ant an hour to like heal someone, and it's one of the most tense things I've ever seen because he's just sitting there like mad dogging her until like an hour passes, um and it's like so good, and the there's these there's York New City, that's a great arc, and there's like Heaven's Arena, that's a great arc, and
Heaven's Arena was so lit.
so good, man. So
Gon was lifting tiles and cracking people on the head with them
yeah.
shit.
So quick impressions. Now we're into the Succession arc, and I'll give a little bit of a primer from what I remember going forward. But before we get into it, does Josh, do you have any kind of like introductory thoughts on your end of Hunter x Hunter as we begin to add it to the lineup and cover it weekly?
As far as introductory thoughts go, this is a series that I really enjoyed. Strictly, not strictly, mostly because it's very in depth. There's a lot of explanation. There's a lot of creativity. I love it all. I started reading it during the most recent arc, a few years ago when it was coming out in the Shonen Jump magazine before they broke it up into like individual series, and I just liked it without even knowing any of the context. And like I mentioned previously, I watched the anime, so it's it's just very well thought out, very rigorous. Uh,
Nice.
and I hope I'm looking forward to talking about it.
Yeah.
There was
Brian.
a moment during the Heavens Arena arc, okay, when a character named Killua faces off against this friend that they made along the way, and there's a moment that's similar to Naruto when Rock Lee fights against Gaara, right? He asks Guy Sensei if he could take the weights off, and he's like, "Yeah, go ahead," And then he starts fighting Gaara for serious real this time, you know. You know how that goes. And there was also a moment during the Heaven's Arena arc in Hunter x Hunter where Killua again was fighting someone, and the kid almost used this ability that we didn't know what it was at the time, but it ended up being something called Nen, that is like, you know, a core power of the series, and it was so edge
It wasn't Edge.
and cool. Maybe not edge, but it was cool because he was about to do something crazy, and his even though he was losing, his mentor was like, "No, don't do it." So it seems so mysterious and dangerous. Like, wow, like he can't even use this ability to like save him from losing the match. It must be a big deal. That's all I needed to hear.
Yeah, it turns out it is a big deal. Nen is probably the most complicated power system I've ever fucking watched. Uh, so, and you know, there is a lot of stuff that I feel Jujutsu Kaisen takes inspiration from. You know, Gege Akutami has like talked about how Hunter x Hunter was one of his favorites growing up. I believe there's like interviews where he talked about it, and the influence is pretty clear. I would say that like Togashi really like created a really good power system, and just by simplifying a tiny bit, Gege Akutami may have perfected it because I do find myself like enjoying the simpler idea of the cursed energy a tad bit more. But yeah, I mean, Nen is a great power system, and I love reading about it because every power is very unique and very fun to learn about. Um, but yeah, I mean, that's my spiel about Nen. I forgot to mention it during my brief, but I guess we should throw it to Brian. Brian, what did you think about Hunter x Hunter going in to the coverage of it?
Okay. So, I did start a Hunter x Hunter binge a while ago, where I just decided to start watching the series, and I started it. I watched the anime, and I caught up, and then I was like, damn, all right, time to read the manga. I can't wait to keep reading keep catching up with the series. But the manga was locked behind the vault in Shonen Jump, and I just didn't feel like going through the hassle trying to catch up. So I was like, I guess I'll put it to the side for now. And then the series got recontinued, and I'm like, oh shit, I guess. And then they came out the vault, and I was like, oh fuck. Oh no.
Yeah.
I have no more excuses. So I started reading it, and holy shit. There's a clear difference between the Chimera Hunter x Hunter arc and the arc complete and the arc directly after it. After that, it's not just like a shonen anymore. It's like so much world building going on at like all times. Everybody has different motives. Everybody has different things they're trying to complete. Everybody's trying to outsmart each other, not just with Nen, but with fucking their actual power in the world and their stake and their positions. It's fucking insane. All of a sudden in this moment, like after the Chimera arc, the world just fucking opens up massively as a way to set up for the biggest arc to come up, which is the Dark Continent arc. So basically all of this shit is like they have this huge build up for that chapter. I mean, for that arc, and I'm super fucking excited for it because the way they set it up was so fucking good. Like, even though Gon, the main character, isn't even involved in it, they still managed to like prop up so many other interesting characters to set up for something that he might not even be involved in. Let's be honest. Gon probably isn't going to show up in this arc. Neither is Killua. So, and they're not even. And honestly, if they don't show up in it, it makes sense. And that's something that most mangaka can't do. They don't have that kind of that liberty, you know? To have so many compelling characters that you could just be like, oh yeah, Main character could take a seat for a few years. We'll get back to him eventually. Like, it's actually fucking nuts if you think about it. I can't think of a single manga off the top of my head that can just remove the main character from the series and it gets better. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting like that because it's not the first time it's done it either. You could argue like York New City cuts out Gon like for a while, and Kurapika is pretty much the main character for a good portion of this series, to be honest.
I fucking love Kurapika, by the way.
Kurapika.
Kurapika.
Good up. I only call him that because that's how the announcer calls it. The narrator calls him Kurapika.
Kurapika is drowning in a. What was it? I forgot what it was. I'm gonna see if I find it. Kurapika is, but anyway, I guess to buy time.
I'll find
it. Hunter x Hunter.
Wait.
Did you find it?
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
Yeah, that's the one. Hold on. I think I could play it for the crowd. My is now drowning. Okay, found it. Hell yeah.
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
Yeah.
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
Emptiness. Can you run it one more time?
Yeah, once. Why not? Narrator Sama, for those of you who don't know, is a very prominent character in Hunter x Hunter. And we get these little gems from him sometimes.
Kurapika is now drowning in an indescribable emptiness.
And mind you, the music is so fucking hype during this moment too.
Yeah.
I wish whenever I felt fucking depressed that heavy rock music would play every time as well.
But it does, Brian. It does in your heart. Yeah.
Brian is currently crying his balls off.
Christian is currently weeping in the fetal position.
Brian doesn't know whether everything will be okay or not.
Yeah, we all need sad rock music accompaniment. But anyway, I guess we could get into the recap in general by closing it off by thinking Hunter x Hunter is not your granddad's shonen manga. This very much is a very there's this term in Bakuman that they were trying to aim for, which is the non-mainstream battle manga. This was it. I feel like this is where they got that idea. Just like a series.
It's not a standalone.
No, and it's also like not a particularly optimistic story. Characters really get knocked down a peg continuously. It's not particularly optimistic, and it's very complicated and very kind of philosophical. I would say there's like a lot of like value in the Chimera Ant arc just on a thematic level alone. That other series don't really tackle with as much honesty.
Did you guys almost cry?
I didn't almost cry, but I was like, damn.
I almost cried.
Yeah? Meruem!
I felt the heaviness in my eyes. Not as I watched it, but when I read it today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. So I'm going to try to, the best of my ability, recap. In short, I'm going to leave out a lot of stuff because it's impossible not to. I'll be here all day if I try to recap every little thing that's happened since
my god,
narratively when the anime ends to this point, because that's about 50 chapters, and that 50 chapters, if you really write out the summary, feels like it's more like 100 chapters because a lot of shit happens. So, obviously, spoilers ahead for Hunter x Hunter from chapter 340 onward. Basically, the anime leaves off with Gon finding his father, spending some time. Gon freaks! finding his father and having some time with him and realizing that he can no longer produce aura. There has been this big chairman election thing that's been going on that has gotten, in Hunter x Hunter fashion, very complicated for no reason. But at the end of the day, one of the 12 zodiacs, which are, I guess, like the hunters closest to Netero, who was the previous leader of the Hunter Association, uh, one of them was nominated, the dog zodiac one. I forget her name already because
Cheetle.
Cheetle. Thank you, Brian. Because there's so many names to remember, and I'll explain more about that because there's more names than you think that you have to remember, kind of. So basically, after that, it's revealed that Netero had a son. His name is Beyond Netero. Pretty fucking cool name, to be honest. And his whole thing is that he wants to travel the Dark Continent. He wants to hunt in the Dark Continent, which is this unexplored world. Apparently, the world of Hunter x Hunter is just like a small, that we've seen so far, is a small microcosm of the rest of the planet, in which has been mostly unexplored because it is just like home to various fucking pathogens and airborne diseases and fucking giant monsters, among other things. And it's been expressly forbidden not to go after several voyages have left multiple hundreds of casualties. So they tend not to try to go out there. But Beyond is trying to exacerbate things to a point where he's forcing a lot of people to go. He's forcing like the general government of the world of Hunter x Hunter, known as the V5, to participate in this. And the way he's done that is that he has gone to this country called Kakin, I believe is the country, or is that the family name? I don't know. Kakin.
The Kakin Empire.
Yeah, so he goes there and he makes this guy basically a hero and a king, and he convinces them to accompany him, like to use their resources to take him to the Dark Continent. The V5, which is the rest of the world that is not connected to the Kakin, they catch wind of this and are like, shit. We can't just let them be the pioneers. We got to be attached to that in some way. So they invite the Kakin into the V5, which now becomes the V6, and intend to, I guess, try and capture Beyond before he goes in. And instead of Beyond going in alone, they try to circumvent him, so they're the ones accompanying Kakin. I believe that's the plan of the V5. But what they do is that, like, the nitty gritty of the plan is that because Jing Gon's father, who was the boar zodiac, and Pariston, who was the rat zodiac, they're gone. So there's 2 holes to fill in the zodiac chairs. So they bring on Leorio and Kurapika to take their spots. They send Kurapika onto the ship that's going to take the Kakin royal family from the regular world to a new continent that's right before the Dark Continent. And from
Real
there,
quick.
Oh, did I miss something?
I think it would be nice for him to know why Leorio was chosen, and that's because he was extremely popular because he actually punched Ging in the face.
Yes.
And that actually led him pretty far into the voting process for potentially becoming the new chairman of the Hunters Association, and he only bowed out because Gong, who was incredibly injured because of Nen, he ended up coming out fine, and then he kind of pulled out his race in the Hunter Association. So that's why he was chosen. And then as a result of Leorio getting chosen, he recommended what's his name, Kurapika, to be a part of the Zodiacs as well.
Yes, please. If I miss anything, let me know, because again, lots of information that I read in less than a week. So I might forget things here and there. Okay, so that's the plan. Basically, they stow away Kurapika to to try and infiltrate the Kakin. He and a couple of our hunters, all of which who we've seen before, Hanzo the ninja, Biscuit who trained Gon and Killua in Greed Island. Uh, the I forget one of the guys is there that taught Karapika his nen. He's also there. I forget his name right now because he doesn't show up very often in this arc so far. But he's there, and there's this Pompadour guy from York New City that I remember as well, whose name I'm not exactly certain of.
There's a few characters from York New.
Melody as well as
Melody's there too.
Who is like the closest confidant to Kurapika during the York New City arc. She's there as well.
She's part of the mafia, right? That Kurapika runs.
She's part of the mafia that Kurapika now leads, actually. So they sail away under the guise of the princes of the Kakin dynasty, their bodyguards. So there are 14 of them in all, and it was basically a race for all hunters to basically get in. The V5 and Beyond's people and the Hunter Association have all kind of like infiltrated the Kakin in their own way. But Kurapika really needed to get on, so his plan was to like guard over the 9th prince. There are 14 princes in all. Kurapika ended up with the 14th prince at the end of the day because it was kind of like a ruse where they set up this application process so that Kurapika would assume that he is applying for the 9th prince. None of the other hunters are really certain when they apply to become a bodyguard for the princes. They don't really know who they're bodyguarding until they get there. So Kurapika is guarding the 14th prince, who is the youngest prince. She is still a baby, actually. Her name is Prince Wobble. And Kurapika basically communicates pretty much with the mother, who is the Queen Oito. Melody ends up... I don't remember the numbers of the princes in order, but like there's the other hunters end up with their princes as well. They all are all on there, and they learn of this kind of disturbing thing that's happening. It's a big old voyage. First of all, it's not just the princes. There are also a bunch of regular people that are also on this boat as kind of like a show to like, for like I guess like the Kakin royalty to like say that we're providing a whole new life for people on this new continent. So we're bringing people along and changing their lives, I guess, like kind of as a feel good story, if I remember right. But secretly it is like a darker reason. There's like a weird sacrificial element to it. There are these factors involved with the princes. They don't know that Nen is a thing, but they do get involved in this ritual in which they have to give a drop of blood and put it into the sea urn, and they are given a Nen beast to watch over them throughout the duration of the voyage. Each one of them has basically...
It's really dope shit. Really dope.
Yeah, each of them gets an invisible animal basically to watch over them while and protect them and guard them that they can't see, other princes can't see, and they don't... These beasts don't attack or kill people unless, I guess, they're protecting it, like only in self-defense for the most part. But they don't.
They're passive for the most part.
Exactly. So Kurapika learns about this whole thing and learns that someone's out there trying to kill his prince, basically, and he's like, shit. So in order for like Kurapika to get the means to the end, that is the whole reason he really actually takes this on and joins the Hunter Association, Zodiacs, and all that stuff, is to kill the 4th prince of the Kakin, Surrendernich, something like that. His name is long and complicated for no reason. Surrenderich.
He easily has the most ridiculous name out of all the princes for no reason.
Out of all of them, he has the hardest name.
Like, all right. So there was a few pages where they were explaining the names of all the princes and shit. And I shit you not, for me, it felt like Barry, the first prince.
Benjamin is the first prince.
Ashley,
Camille,
the second prince.
Okay, yeah. Camille is the second prince.
Third prince, Winston. Fourth prince. Fifth prince, Bob.
Yeah.
That's what it felt like to me.
Yeah, it is like that. I don't remember all the princes' names because there are 14 of them, and we don't spend a whole lot of time with a lot of them. But yeah, there's this one prince, the fourth prince on this in this lineage, is in possession of the Scarlet Eyes of Kurapika's clan, which is the incentive for Kurapika to take on this mission in the first place, to finally get the last of his family's eyes back. And
what is he doing with the eyes, by the way? I forgot.
I guess
like, is he just like taking them?
Yeah, he's just taking.
He just has them.
Yeah, he just has them. He's not trying to let people take his family's eyes, which is fair, I guess. But yeah, that's why he's there. But he's caught up in this whole royal family drama, and it is low-key convenient for him because now he can kind of kill the fourth prince with impunity there. There is a way that he gets what he wants, and he could use force to do it, and it would be not a super high crime depending if he plays his card right. So there has been a lot of complications, as we know. Basically, Nen, the concept of Nen becomes public knowledge during this voyage as like the battles start to happen and princes start dropping. There's only been 2 that have been killed so far. The first one went down, and they were killed by Nen of some sort, which caused Kurapika to have to kind of like make some deals in a long and roundabout way to kind of teach the other prince's guards that don't know Nen, teach them Nen, so that they can guard their princes, and there could be evil playing ground. I could be wrong about that. I don't know. The
first prince that died is the dude who choked out the lion.
No, he's
still alive. Is that what you're talking about, or is it just another?
No,
prince?
Benjamin's still alive.
Okay.
It's it was a female prince. She was like choked out in her bed. I don't know if you got that far, but
I didn't get there yet. I just finished the Crollo fight.
Yeah. Well, I guess that's another thing to explain because that's actually important for the chapter that we're going to cover. While all this shit is happening, all this like crazy royal family drama, Game of Thrones type shit is going on. In the outside world, in the Heavens Arena, we get a really like long battle between Crollo and Hisoka, which was like, I guess, a long time coming at this point. And I'm not going to go crazy on the details there because it has to do with a lot of explaining and very complicated abilities, but it does end with Crollo actually killing Hisoka, technically. Hisoka only survives the battle because he uses Nen, like in the last moments, he like does this Nen thing that activates after death, and it kind of starts his heart again using his gum Nen thing.
Bungee gum.
Yeah, his bungee gum resuscitates him post his death, and I think
what it was is that he used his Nen before he died.
Exactly.
And then the Nen used to repair his body by a doctor restarted his Nen, which then allowed the Nen to pump his heart, his lungs, and his brain or some shit like that.
Yes, and then he healed himself up using, his like Nen powers, so he's not a third degree burned corpse man. So, and immediately after doing that, he gives a pretty epic ultimatum to Machi, I think her name is, the one that usually heals him up, and says like, tell the spiders that it's on site, and I'm gonna fight to kill them as soon as I see them. So let them know to square up as soon as if they see me. And he follows that up immediately by killing 2 Phantom Troop members, Cortopi and Shalnark. They're dead. So ever since Hunter x Hunter started, that is now 4 Phantom Troop members that are dead. Uvogin, Pakunoda, Shalnark, and Cortopi. They're dead. Uh, and it seems that Hisoka has escaped onto the very boat that Kurapika is on. The Phantom Troop also has snuck onto the boat, but they were already going to do that on business. They were going to go there and steal some treasure from the royal family. But now they've caught wind that Hisoka is also on the boat. So
No, wait, what?
yeah.
Yeah.
And of course, we all know
No
this.
way, what?
Yeah. Not only that,
That is so fucked up.
not only that, you know who else is on this boat? Who else has beef with them? Kurapika is
Fucking
also on the boat.
Kurapika, yeah. So that's fucking crazy.
So all of the remaining spiders are currently on the fucking boat with
Oh,
Kurapika.
but there's
somewhere.
also one more person.
Who?
Gene.
Oh, I don't think Jing is on the boat.
He is on the boat.
He is on the boat.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Being is
I'll
on
let
the
you know.
boat. Why?
Yes, he is.
I guess Jing is on the boat.
I don't
forgot
know
that.
because he wants to get to the continent.
No, I know, but I
Duh.
thought it was coming later.
Yeah, but that's. Are they going to the continent?
no.
this
they're
boat?
Well, the plan is to stop off at this new continent first to refuel, and then go into the dark continent.
So is Beyond on this boat then?
Yeah, but in the meantime, the family is having their crazy kill each other ritual to decide who the next king of Kakin is going to be. So, I guess the time limit is that all these princes have to be killed before they reach the new continent and then move on into the dark continent. That's the idea anyway, for the new king to be chosen by the time they arrive, because this is all happening in secret. They're not just like squaring up out there. It's got to be done very sneakily and within the confines of the law, technically, because what they're doing is super duper illegal because there's a lot of murder involved. So I guess that's where we find ourselves currently since Hunter x Hunter has returned. There are a lot of plot points that have sprung up. It's gotten even more complicated, believe it or not, because now we are shifting to the drama that is happening outside of the royal family with the regular people that are on the boat as well. And it turns out that there are a bunch of illegitimate children of the king that are also on this boat, and they're fucking mafia people. It seems they run their own crime syndicates, and
Jesus Christ.
they all hate the royals as well. So they're
Oh my god! Everybody wants to kill each other on this boat.
actually,
Yeah,
Brian,
it's
you're not
crazy.
far off, because in a previous chapter, the cow zodiac who is on the boat is talking about how there's been a lot of murder on the boat lately.
Mazai, right?
Yeah,
That's his
Mizai
name.
has been talking about there's a lot of murder on the boat lately, and if they don't nip this in the bud soon, it's gonna spread to the lower floors, and there'll just be all out chaos and war, and this whole ship will fucking sink because of the violence that will spring up, especially now that there is just a mass murder walking around in the lower floors, killing off mafia members. It's not great. So, now on top of that, the spiders are around looking to off Hisoka. So, a lot of shit is going down in this. A lot of paths are converging.
And Hisoka's around trying to off them, and also Kurapika is around trying to off them as well.
Well, Kurapika doesn't know that the spiders are on board. He's
Yeah, but once he does know, that's
yeah,
it's on site for him too.
yeah, lots of things.
And Kurapika is actually, I don't know if you explained this yet, but Kurapika's entire Nen ability, like there's a huge chunk of his power that's dedicated just to killing the spiders.
Yeah,
Like if he uses this ability on literally anybody else, he will die because of it. That's how strongly he hates these dudes.
yeah. Another thing I neglected to mention, involving the fourth prince. As I mentioned before, Kurapika's whole goal is to get his family's eyes from the fourth prince. The fourth prince has been learning Nen from his bodyguard, who can use Nen and has been teaching him Nen. He is catching on incredibly fast, and he is actually super duper powerful with Nen, it turns out. He has been learning at a higher rate than apparently anybody in this series has, and his ability is seeming to start to take hold, and is that he can start to see 10 seconds into the future, like the more he looks. So he was able to like. There's this little sub story where his bodyguard, knowing what a piece of fucking shit he is realizing how strong he's getting, and is like, oh no, this guy can't learn Nen, so I must kill him. Uh, and there is a scene where she shoots him in the head, but then it turns out that she didn't. Like, she blinks and then he's gone and he's like right behind her. And the reason being is that he saw in the future that he was going to shoot her, and he just kind of like moved out of the way. But because of his ability, he like kind of like, it's a weird alternate reality thing where he like branched off for a second, and she saw him kill her. She saw herself kill him for a split second, and then it cut to the reality that is, which is that he dodged it. It's very hard to explain because he's only used it once so far, and it's a still developing ability. So, point being, he's getting broken right now.
Wait, are they saying that he picked up on Nen faster than Meruem?
Yes, he's so fat. Like, they've been on the boat for like 2 weeks, and even within the 2 weeks, he's just like advanced very far. Like 2 weeks, Kurapika teaches a lot of the guards Nen in 2 weeks. Like, he learned half of that in less time, basically. So he's just so fucking good. He's just got a natural aptitude for Nen.
So wait, what kind of Nen does he fall under then?
He's a specialist.
Oh
Yeah.
shit.
And he's supposed to be like pure evil or something like that too.
Yeah.
So specialists are the ones that do everything, right?
Specialists they don't fall under any particular category. They just have a power that is unlike others. I guess, like, you know.
Yeah, Kurapika
is a specialist because, you know,
Kurapika is only a specialist when he's an emperor time, though, right?
Well, when he uses his ability is a specialist ability. So.
No, I think. All right. So I'm pretty sure that
conjurer,
whenever he uses emperor time, that's when he's a specialist. But but regularly he's a other thing, like a conjurer or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he conjures the chains, but like all those powers that he has that's his specialist attribute, I guess.
Yeah, he's a conjurer normally, and then when he uses emperor time, that's when he's a specialist.
Yeah.
By the way, in case we didn't mention, Kurapika comes from a clan with special eyes, and
Kurapika.
as a result of that, Kurapika's eyes are special. In fact, that when he activates them, they when he's in a very emotional state, he activates his eyes, which then allows him to essentially become a Nen god of sorts, where he could do literally whatever he wants with his Nen.
Yeah, and it's involuntary.
And he calls it emperor time.
Yeah, it's involuntary too. So even in this arc, he has to put on contacts so he won't be like sussed out by people. But in any case, I think that's so far what happened last chapter is that we are learning that some of the members of the Phantom Troop have allied themselves with the like mafias within the bottom floors to find Hisoka in exchange for killing off another mafia head. But the first things first, the efforts are more to find Hisoka first. So we open with a couple of side characters whose names I don't remember, because you are expected apparently to know not only like the side characters, but the side characters of the side characters. Like, all of the royal guards have names and abilities that I have to remember, and I don't. I just don't. I remember this guy. Like, there's this long-haired guy who's like a mafia dude. His ability is that he can turn animals into technology. And basically, he just had a scuffle with a guy and killed him off. But, you know, he's suddenly alive. But you see there's this Nen aura around him. He's getting investigated by, I guess, the military police that's on the boat. And, you know, they're trying to clear up what's happening, because there was just like literally a fight right before this chapter. And one of the troopers goes up to the mafia guy and is like, "How much would you pay for info on the whereabouts of the Haley boss?" Um, and 50 million is the price. And they kind of negotiate for a while, and they basically agree to a price. And he says, "Please, like, wait here. I'll bring the money, but you'll escort me to the boss's place personally." And they're like, "All right, cool." The guy that he was scuffling with walks away, but it turns out he is being possessed by a former GU member, like a former member of the mafia that was killed, and is using a Nen ability that is activated beyond death. That is called La Vie en Rose, which
La Vie en Rose.
the ability is activated upon the death of Misha, who was a cleaner. Activates, and it activates in general when a member of the GU commits murder. So it basically possesses a corpse until it can be disposed of quietly, and that's the ability. Meanwhile, there are these other mafia members walking around looking for Hisoka.
Wait, hold on real quick. Can you explain the Nen that activates after death a little bit better? Because I know it was introduced during the Krollo fight, right?
Yes.
But like I don't really get it. Like it so when you get like when your Nen gets used after death, it's stronger, right?
Yes.
Like it becomes stronger, so that's why Hisoka's stronger now, because like his bungee gum is stronger now, right?
No, what happened? I
Like,
don't
because if the Nen gets stronger after death, then that means Hisoka is like much stronger now, right?
It's Nen that's activated after death, not necessarily like it's stronger after death. From what I understand, you can basically use Nen. You can like store away or like repurpose a bit of your Nen to be used after death. As Krollo mentioned, that like his ability can be used after he dies. Technically, it activates after his death as well. As far as Hisoka goes, the way I understand it is that he put a bunch of his bungee gum into his heart, with the intention that upon activation of the Nen by touching Machi's Nen, it would restart his heart again and restart his lungs and all that stuff. So,
Wow.
I guess I think of it as a landmine. I guess like leaving it before you die, like a trap before you die or something. That can be activated after you die. So I hope I explained that well. But there's a lot of
that makes
information
more sense.
I'm trying to.
So you could use it to like bring yourself back in Hisoka's case, or you could use it to fucking send a middle finger to whoever kills you.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I guess it depends on your ability, like in theory it's plausible that you can use like the buoyancy of the bungee gum to restart like your heart. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think you got the idea generally. That it's just basically you could use it as a middle finger or to resurrect yourself after death as a countermeasure. All part of the ever-growing tapestry that is Nen as a power system. But in any case, we continue onward. There's the two other mafia members. One has a Nen ability to control their blood after they've been cut. And this other one who has the ability, if she hits you, your inner voice comes out that only she can hear. So she can ask you a question, and she displays it here actually, where she walks up to a guy and is like, "Is your name Hisoka?" And the guy's like, "Who? You got the wrong." And she just punches him, and you see that like it says, "No, I am not." And it just like whoever she punches will just like answer her question, like through her Nen ability, I guess. Like it's basically a mind reading power that she activates after punching you. And they're just walking around trying to look for him, and lo and behold, they find him. They find Hisoka. He's just walking around, and he looks very different because he has his hair down and he's wearing regular kind of clothing.
Yeah, and he doesn't have all the stuff on his face.
Yeah, he doesn't look like a fucking weird clown. So she walks up to him and is like, he's like, "Are you Hisoka?" And Hisoka looks down at her like, "Who are you?" And she's like, "Lynch." "And you?" And she tries to punch him, but nothing comes out. And I guess with Conqueror's hockey, he just puts her down. And she's like, oops, sorry, that was a reflex. So what do you want? And the other guy that was accompanying this mafia girl was like, whoa, shit. He's got this overwhelming aura. It's like the devil. And Hisoka's like, I guess you didn't hear me. I thought I was the one asking questions here.
Right.
And the blood guy is like, I don't know the details, but the mafia is looking for you. If you want to know more, then come with us. And all we see is Hisoka looking Hisoka-ish. And the blood guy starts sweating. And then we cut over to, like, I guess this mafia guy's still looking for Hisoka, you know, looking around and asking people for information. There's this whole page where this guy's talking to this old lady, talking about how there's like kind of a gag order in effect because of like all the drama that's been going on. So, you know, these mafia guys are looking around. There's a lot of thinking going on by one of the head bosses of the mafia. They're just like there's a Haley assassin going around. His ability, he could just like open these weird portals and stuff and warp from place to place. So, you know, he's kind of in a short way of saying it. He's like hoping that like Hisoka and the spiders kind of knock each other out because, you know, the spiders are kind of like threats in their own way. Speaking of which, we cut over to a couple of the Phantom Troop hanging out, specifically Finks, Phaeton, and Nobunaga. They're hanging out with the mafia dudes.
Oh fuck! I haven't heard Nobunaga's name in so long.
Yeah, he's here
Jesus.
too. So they're just like trying to figure out what to do next. Nobunaga suggests that they split into pairs and search outside, but Franklin is around here somewhere. He suggests getting Franklin and picking him up, and Finks is like, I don't think Franklin will want to run around here. You know, he hates confined spaces. He's like, then I'll team with Franklin. You guys stay here, you know. But all of a sudden, they are met briefly by the serial killer from the Haley. He knocks on the door and apparently abducts a bunch of dudes from the Haley army. And then like his hand starts to like split open the door, and he's like, "It's not like you. You guys could wipe out the Char, bust down that door, and slaughter all the loaded, rotten scoundrels in the upper tiers, couldn't you?" He's like, "I'm kind of disappointed." He says, "Your wiki page is that you're diabolical, but I guess that was exaggerated. Want me to edit your entry for you?" And Nobunaga pulls out his sword. He's like, "Sure, go ahead. Just say that we show no mercy to dudes who tick us off." So I guess Nobunaga, and that's where the chapter ends. I guess we're gonna get a battle between the Phantom Troop and this serial killer that we've seen throughout the lower floors. Josh, you read this chapter, right?
Yes.
Hell yeah. What did you think about Hunter x Hunter chapter 392?
It's been one hell of a day reading a lot of Hunter x Hunter. It was cool seeing the Phantom Troop, you know, towards the end. I didn't think we'd get a fight with them like on the ship. You know, I thought whatever would happen, it would be on the other side of the journey, right? But there's so many storylines going on. I'm most interested in what's going on with the princes and stuff, you know, with their Nembis. One of them has a Nembis that's basically wheezing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the coolest one.
Well, you'll see, I guess.
The fourth prince is going to be the next major villain. He can like see the future.
Oh yeah.
And his Nembeast is really like intimidating. It looks straight up at you. I think if you lie, it'll kill you or something like that.
Yeah,
Pretty
it is
crazy.
actually. Yeah, I think that's like his Nenbeast's ability. It like watches after him. It's weird.
Mhm.
It's a real gross one too. It has a head in its mouth. It's a lot. It's a very dramatic power.
Yeah, it's very dramatic. Well said. Other than that, I really don't have too much. I need to get into a rhythm, with the series. I'm just kind of hoping to see what happens next week, and then it doesn't take a break for another few years.
I think there's plenty of material already like finished for this run of chapters, however long it lasts. So, here's hoping. Brian, you wouldn't. You're like still a little behind, right? You wouldn't have.
Yeah, I still haven't even read that chapter yet.
That's fair. I guess I'll go.
Brian Freaks.
Brian Freaks. Um, I'll be honest. This stuff with the Phantom Troop is the stuff that I've like read through the fastest because it was kind of like getting to crunch time in terms of adding this series to the lineup. So there's like a little bit of spotty details here and there. I'll probably like take another glance over to see. But yeah, like Josh said, there are just so many storylines in this that you have to keep track of, and so many fucking characters. Like I thought One Piece was bad. But you really gotta like kind of pay attention to every single person on this goddamn ship, or else you're gonna be lost.
Yeah, I thought Hisoka was dead.
Nope, he's out there. Yeah. So I mean, honestly, I'm actually happy to see the Phantom Troop. I think obviously they're just a fun group to keep track of in this series. They're a fun group of characters in general. Like one of the better villain groups that I'm aware of in the last few years. So I'm excited to see how this goes for them. So much is converging on this boat in terms of Kurapika's story with the Phantom Troop and the eyes that are on the ship and all that stuff. So I wonder if like after this somehow we're gonna shift off of Kurapika and somehow get Gon and Killua back into the spotlight. Given how like in theory like they could end Kurapika's storyline on this fucking boat right here if he manages to kill all the spiders on the boat right now.
It could go that way. You're right.
Yeah, there just seems to be like so much story left to Hunter x Hunter, you know? And given that it's just come back off of hiatus, and I'm glad that it has been, I wonder how long this story is gonna go, man. It could be like another like 5 years before like the story is completed.
Yeah.
You know what's funny? You know what's really, really funny? Is that there is a whole big ass villain that has yet to be even mentioned yet. Remember Gyro?
Oh my god. Gyro. Listen. He's nobody.
My
He
God,
turned into an ant.
He
He turned
literally
into an ant and got killed.
That's not
He
what
was
happened.
fodder.
No, he's still an ant. He's still alive.
It's an ant?
Yeah, as an ant.
No.
And they mentioned
The lion wasn't Giro?
No.
Yes,
What
it
are you
was.
talking about?
He's a crime boss.
So essentially, Gyro is supposed to be stronger than Meruem, and him and Gon are fated to meet. So there's that. And apparently they were so close to meeting, and if they did, I forget what the narrator said, but it was something along the lines of shit would have gone down.
Jeez. Well, there's also
there's a whole ass big bad that still hasn't even we haven't even seen his face yet.
Yeah.
I bet Joro ain't got shit on the fourth print.
I don't know, man.
He's
in Meteor City right now. He's in Meteor City right now.
The only reason he's allowed to live there right now is because the Phantom Troop aren't there.
I think when the Phantom Troop go back, it's not Meteor City anymore, to be honest. That's what I think.
You think it'll be Gyroville?
Yeah.
It'll probably be Gyroville, yeah.
Well, you know that the Phantom Truth are gonna this isn't that big of a deal their way through him.
Honestly,
think it's gonna
I'm
be
kind of excited because
Gyroville?
Nobunaga, I don't think we ever got Nobunaga's ability. Like his
Nobunaga's ability is that
Wait, he never
can
used
slice
that
people
ability?
at the atomic level.
I don't think we get. He's Atomic Samurai.
Really? He never used his
That's
Nen
what
ability?
Atomic Samurai
No,
was
we've never
modeled
seen
after.
him use his like Nen ability. I don't think we have, at least. I'm trying
I
to remember
did.
back. We've
When he
seen
fought
Finks.
against Boros.
Boros.
Let me see.
Oh,
Well, not Boros, but you know
One
the
Punch Man. Yeah, I get it.
yeah.
No, yeah, we've seen Finks, we've seen Phaeton, we've seen a lot of them. We haven't seen Franklin's, we haven't seen Nobunaga's. We've seen most of the Phantom Troops powers, but not them. Honestly, pretty stoked to see it if we do get to see it this arc. But
All we know is that he's an enhancer.
that makes sense.
That's what we know at the moment.
Yeah.
But we don't know just how good at Nen he is.
Yeah. Well, overall, I like this chapter quite a bit. I'm excited for what comes next. I suppose we should move onward, though. We've been on Hunter x Hunter for a while. Welcome to the lineup. If you are in the market for more Hunter x Hunter coverage, subscribe. We'll be doing it every week now.